Hey everybody, I'm Quinn.
And I'm Scott. It's time for the Almost Friday show for February 17th, 2011.
Starting it off and off the press, we're looking at RoboCop. They're making a statue.
In Detroit.
Yeah.
And the mayor hates it.
He does. However...
Which makes me love it all the more.
However, crowdsourcing has potentially brought us closer to that goal.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. We should try that.
Crowdsourcing?
I want a statue of something ridiculous.
Yeah, we should try that.
Yeah, see how it goes. Then we're going to the gutters. Dave's talking about Twilight Guardian, and it's not what you think. It has nothing to do
with gardens or the time just before night.
Guardian.
Oh.
Not garden.
I was excited when it was Twilight Garden. I thought it was going to be an epic comic book about gardening.
About vampires gardening?
Well, oh, yeah.
Wow. All right. Let's
Isn't that what the movie's about anyways?
Well, more or less.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In Tech Insight this week, it's Mobile World Conference, so we're telling you about all the new phones, but not really, more like tablets.
Yeah, so I guess some people announced some phones, but I'm not really interested because everyone announced a tablet.
Yeah.
HTC, LG, Samsung, Motorola talked more about that. It's ridiculous.
Pretty soon we're all just going to be talking with 10-inch things on our faces.
I hope not.
I hope not either.
Bluetooth is going to become cool.
Look at that minimalist Bluetooth that's the size of a phone.
And we have some Canadian content. We're following up on the Global Live situation with the courts. Give you an update on that.
And in science this week, Sean is bringing us a real-life scanner that can tell you all about yourself without actually,
more like
doing anything.
Beep. Yes, you're healthy. Beep. No, you're not. Go see a doctor.
I hate that call because you're driving in the doctor's office. She's like, "Oh God, what's wrong with me? Am I gonna make it?"
It didn't say anything. It just said to see you.
It just said I wasn't healthy.
So you've got a mild case of indigestion. Oh, I see.
I drove all the way here for this. I should just eat a bran muffin. Why can't the device just say bran muffin?
And on that, it's time for Off the Press.
Welcome to Off the Press for this week. Starting it off, we're going straight to Detroit.
What?
Where a RoboCop statue is in the works, maybe, possibly?
They got the Kickstarter account going, so they've made it up to $50,000. They got 2 weeks left in case they want to make a bigger, brawnier,
more badass statue,
shinier, possibly.
Yes.
But the mayor is not. He's not into this.
Very much not happy about it.
This is not the first time they've tried to do this
so
either.
a little bit of background. So, like you said, it's not the first time it's happened. The mayor has been like, "Oh hell no," and then
the mayor, a voice of reason.
Yes, has been like, "Oh
Go
hell
fig.
no." So like the internet's like, he doesn't want to pay for it. How about we pay for it? Let's start a Kickstarter account. And now they've got $50,000, half of which comes from a guy in California who has a lot of money. Guy in California, Detroit needs a lot more help than a RoboCop statue. Just saying.
It kind of makes me wonder, like, rich guys, do they, like, troll Kickstarter? And
probably.
I mean, so I'm thinking I should get something started, like, fund my career.
Yeah. There's a lot of people doing that, actually. A little, for, like, artistic projects and all that stuff.
Yeah. Which is cool. Anyway, neat idea.
Cool concept.
I would not contribute to it myself.
No.
I'm not upset that it's happening. As much as there are other charities. There's also Robo-Charity, which is being thrown around Twitter now.
Nice. There's a lot of bigger things Detroit needs to worry about, but this is kind of cool.
It's neat, yeah.
It could boost tourism.
I guess, yeah. Now, the big thing is, one of the big things that could be held up is that you need zoning for a statue.
Yeah, zoning and then the approval of the mayor and the council and all that.
I don't see the mayor saying no if, like, I've checked some of his track record. I don't see him saying no if everyone else says yes. But anyway, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see, right? I mean, like, worst case, there's a big bronze statue in someone's backyard.
Yeah. Some
which would be
lucky
awesome.
store owner will have RoboCop in his front yard. Just saying. And moving on, so the new Spider-Man movie starring Andrew Garfield.
The Amazing
Spider-Man. Supposed to come out July 2012. So basically nothing is known about this, except for a picture of the brand new costume that was released this past week.
I've been watching a lot of because there are a bunch of guys walking around with the little cameras on set.
Yeah.
So there have been a bunch of those set up.
There's really not much to say about this, except they're not going with the whole organic web slinging thing, because it actually looks like he's got buttons and a.
He looks
thing.
very. I think one of the best comparisons has been House of M Spider-Man. So if you haven't read House of M, Spider-Man appears in a different suit. Now the thing is, my big problem is, and I had the same problem with the earlier ones. A teenager made this suit.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like
Anyway.
even someone. It was interesting reading some of the articles because a lot of the comments were like, "I'm in fashion" or "I do costumes for fun" and all that. It's like, yeah, a teenager totally can't do this, no matter how awesome their sewing skills are.
Now the thing is, good point was made. You can accept spider powers, but you're drawing the line at
cost.
sewing.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, fine, you got me.
Okay, I guess.
But the problem is, it's defeating its own internal set of
Yeah,
rules, its own internal
exactly.
logic, and it.
Yeah, they're trying so hard to make Spider-Man like a relatable teenager, but they're giving his
Well,
badass
they're
costume.
trying to make him cool too.
Yeah.
And I understand that. I get that.
I understand the cool factor, but
Yeah.
come on.
So I'm just going to sit there and say, okay, I accept Spider-Man outfit. Make
All right,
with a good story
Spider-Man.
too.
Spider-Man's got a great career in fashion. Okay, moving on.
At least in stage design.
Yeah, you know, I think he's got a career in theater. Just saying.
Yay. All right, after that we got
The original Tron on Blu-ray at last.
finally, but
But we're not sure if it's going to be released on its own or bundled together
oh, it
with
is.
Tron
It's
Legacy.
there's like 5 different.
Yeah, there's like
ways
4 or
you can
5
get
different
it.
ways you can buy it.
Yeah.
This Wired article has a breakdown of all different ways, but it shows a box art for the original Tron, but it doesn't list it on the list, which I'm kind of
Is it
dubious
not?
about.
Oh,
Not
okay. I thought it
really.
was just on its own. Anyway.
So if you want to buy this with Tron Legacy, you can get it in the 5-disc Super Uber Special Edition, 3D, 2D, DVD, Blu-ray, everything, for $80 in the States, $95 in Canada.
Which that kind of reflects the exchange rate. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, this wasn't like 3 years ago.
Mm.
And basically the packages just basically work down from there. I think there's a $60 one, $40 one, and then your average $25 one.
So there's a Tron package for any household income bracket.
Exactly.
It's interesting. I do know some big fans who are probably going to be getting every edition.
Yeah.
I can't sit there and say they're idiots because when Tron came out, I bought every edition.
Well, I can.
Sorry, Transformers when
Yeah.
it came out.
I can
So I
see
now own
the-
9 different copies of Transformers, which is a little
lord.
sad.
I can see the Uber $95 Blu-ray one, like, on release week being probably down to $70. So
And I had my Transformers signed by one of the screenplay writers.
you're special.
Yeah, not a good special though. We're
No.
talking helmet all year, kind of. When I was a kid, special.
We only let him take off his helmet for recording because it looks kind of silly.
Oh well.
So anyway, there's not really a solid release date, but Amazon has this listed for April 5th. We're going to be keeping an eye on that, and I will probably buy one of them. Probably not the $95 one, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I might.
Anyway.
Alright, moving on to kind of exciting Wonder Woman news.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Adrian Palicki, can't quite remember what her last name is. IMDb'd her, and
She has been in
she's
a
been
lot
all
of
s-
TV.
a whole
lot
heck
of
of a lot of
sci-fi
TV.
too.
yeah, so she seems to be okay with being typecast,
Yeah.
which seems to be all right. I don't know. Television, I really don't know where television is going to be, because it's NBC.
Yeah.
And if
Didn't
it was
NBC
HBO or
have-
something like
Didn't
that,
NBC have Heroes?
yes.
Okay.
But it was still a low budget
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
The kind of special effects that I want to see out of Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
I don't know, we'll see. I've got very low expectations of this.
Mm-hmm.
And there hasn't been enough that I can really
Yeah, there really hasn't
formulate
been
it.
much news because in the last couple of months it's been
Well, she
Wonder
only
Woman TV
just
show.
got confirmed
Yeah,
as
it's like
the-
maybe Wonder Woman, maybe not. Okay,
Yeah.
it's on NBC. Okay, maybe not. Okay, look, here's some potentials, and then
Yeah.
that's it. So still nothing about it. We'll see.
So not enough to really comment on, but
No.
I'll be watching it out of the corner of my eye. I'm not
Yeah.
going to be paying a great deal
Yeah,
of
I'm
attention
not gonna plan my week around watching
Yeah.
Wonder Woman. Put
No.
it that way. That's something we might plan our weeks around.
to it. Yes.
New Thor trailer dropped today. I'm pretty sure.
What?
It's really awesome.
Yeah.
It's like the other 3 trailers, but more awesome.
Yeah. The special effects are more fine-tuned, which
Yeah.
is nice to see.
Definitely. Get some more shots of the Destroyer for sure.
Yeah. A lot of the, not a lot. a fair number of my reservations have dropped
Yeah.
because of this, because I was so terrified because of
Yeah,
all the
I was
gimmicks that they've
dubious
been
at
adding
first,
to it.
but now I'm like a little bit still dubious, but less dubious.
It looks good. I'm as a Thor fan, because I was terrified. I told you guys all
Yeah.
this. Everyone knows I've been terrified that Thor's going to just suck balls.
Yeah.
But now I'm really looking forward to it in kind of an
Yeah.
unreserved fashion.
Yeah. So one of the big summer blockbusters this year. And now going on to the new releases to wrap up this segment. In theaters this week we have Paul, which is the Simon Pegg and Nick Frost comedy sci-fi thing.
Also, I am number 4, which I thought looked kind of lame at first, and
Yeah.
the more I've seen about it, the cooler it
Yeah,
looks.
the more trailers I watch, the more awesome it seems.
Yeah.
And on DVD/Blu-ray this week, we have Top Gear seasons 14 and 15. And what makes this really exciting for Top Gear fans is that it's finally released on Blu-ray. Woo! And they're not stupid expensive either. They're like $30 a piece, which compared to the
For a season, that's not bad.
well, 5 episodes still, but compared to the old season of DVDs, which were $35 for the DVD, this is pretty good deal.
Unstoppable. Ba, ba, ba.
Speed on a train.
With Denzel Washington
Yeah.
and a little less worrisome. Anyway,
And we have Ong Bak 3 as well this week.
which is weird because I missed Ong Bak 2, and
Yeah.
I was thinking I'd go right to number 3, but I might lose some of the green. I don't know.
I don't think so.
When did he get a nose piercing? I don't know. That makes no sense at all.
Ah, the continuity. And in video games, speaking of non-continuity, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which is getting pretty awesome reviews, actually.
Which is kind of surprising.
It's really surprising for a game like this. So pick those up if you have a chance this week, and that's all for Off the Press.
All right, welcome to this week's From the Gutters. I've got 2 books to review for you. We're going to start with Twilight Guardian. There was something that Image was doing is called the pilot season, and they released a bunch of single issues about stories, sort of intros to what the whole story was going to be, and people voted to see which one they wanted to see developed into a series. Twilight Guardian, written by, and I've got the names here, I just want to make sure I don't get them wrong, Troy Hickman, illustrated by Siddharth Kotian, possibly Koshin. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. My apologies. It's a story about a girl who is basically being a real neighborhood, real life superhero. Now there have been 2 issues out about this story, and it's a 4-issue limited series. The first issue is basically her walking around her neighborhood, and it was talking about her and how she does her rounds. Looks like it's a suburban neighborhood, and she often, throughout both issues, talks about how she is not taking her medication. It's an interesting concept. I don't know that I'm going to be giving away too much. Now, the problem with Troy Hickman's writing is that, in this instance, I should say, there's not a lot going on. It's a little dry. It's an interesting concept, but I personally feel it has to move along much more quickly for my interest to be maintained. The artwork by Mr. Kotian, by Siddharth Kotian, new artist is what it feels like when I'm going through this book. He has problems drawing cars. There are things that you can see this artist knows how to draw, and there are a lot of things that you can tell this person does not know how to draw. Now, this is a weakness that a lot of early artists have. Once they get the repertoire of, I've done this, I've done a New York scene and it lasts an entire comic. I know know how to draw a building. There's things like that. A lot of the books that I read this week had a lot of that new artist feel to them, though, and I was not really impressed by it. It's an interesting book, but it just barely passes. This book, for me, is getting a D+ so far. Bordering on C- only because there seems to be honest to good intent with this. And I know that I shouldn't base reviews based on intent, But it was enough for me that, I'm going to be reading the rest of the series. I'll probably be buying it as well. I don't know that I'll be getting the collection, though. The second book that we're going to be talking about tonight is Garth Ennis's Jennifer Blood. So written by Garth Ennis, such fame as Preacher, what have you. Illustrated by, again, the name Adriano Battista. The artwork, again, I can see that they have a little bit of a pinup, not a pinup gallery, but like a sketch section for Mr. Battista in the back. And I can see how he got this job, but I did not like the work. Garth Ennis has actually got a history of being teamed up with what I think are weak artists. And I don't know if the idea is that his stories are strong enough that they don't need a strong artist, but in this case, neither had me interested. I probably will not be reading the rest of Jennifer Blood, my apologies. Why? The story is about a mother, a suburban mom, who goes out at night and is a killer. Well, she's killing people in, high-tech gear, cutting-edge gear. She puts on a black wig. She's got her cleavage showing because her leather's unzipped down to here. And not interesting enough. It's too Garth Ennis gimmicky without enough substance. And mediocre writing with, in my opinion, bad art, not enough to keep me reading. I don't recommend it. This book gets a D-. It doesn't fail, but it comes dangerously close to doing that. That's it this week. I'll talk to you soon. I'm Dave. That's been From the Gutters.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tech Insight. We're kicking it off this week from Mobile World Conference news.
Mobile World Conference, yes. Basically, usually it's a cell phone announcement conference, but this year it's kind of shifted to tablets, which isn't surprising considering those are kind of the big to-do this year. So, start off with Samsung. A little bit of phone news. They did announce the Galaxy S2, which is really exciting because the Galaxy S was a really good phone. With like 1,000 different models of it, but it was a really good phone, pretty popular. And the Galaxy S2 is coming out, and it's I believe it's dual core, and it's got a little bit bigger screen. It looks nice. I mean, it's up to compete with the Atrix.
I think my problem still with these Android phones is there's a new Android phone every 3 months, so by the time the Android phone actually hits the market, it's already outdated.
That's the one thing I do like about owning an iPhone is I don't have to worry about it for 2 years.
Yeah.
Because there's iPhone 1.5, and then you're up to the next one, right?
Yeah.
Android has this interesting problem where every other day there's something awesome. Like, the Atrix is coming out. Everyone's like, oh, screw it, I'm just going to buy that when it comes out. Oh, now the Galaxy S2 is coming out. Should I get that?
Well,
Should I get the Nexus
my
S?
friend was like, oh, I want to get a Legend, and I'm like, it's already old news. It's like, it hasn't even hit Canada yet. I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Probably
it's already
won't
old
at this
news.
rate,
Yeah.
is the thing. We get especially in Canada, we get a very limited number of phones because they release so frequently. We only get every, 12th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so kind of frustrating, but it does look nice. Then they also talked about their Galaxy Tab 10.1. So that's a 10.1-inch tab as opposed to their 7-inch with the old one.
Yeah.
This got, basically, if you haven't noticed yet, all the Honeycomb Android tablets are almost the same. Tegra 2 dual-core, 1 to 1.5 gigahertz.
Yeah.
You're looking at front-facing camera, rear-facing camera, usually in the same ballpark of megapixels. Very similar screen sizes, very similar resolutions.
So it's really go out and buy the brand you like.
Yeah, or whatever your carrier has if you
Yes,
want to do
definitely.
that 3G thing. But it does look like a good tablet. Apparently the actual construction is a little nicer. They got rid of that glossy back, which I really didn't like about the original. I didn't like much about the original tab, to be honest with you. But it looks pretty nice. Apparently the screen's really good, plays HD video, that kind of thing. It doesn't have a USB port, which is weird. Because the Zoom has that, so you kind of think if you're going to release after, you might as well at least have it. And I don't believe it has HDMI out either,
Okay.
which is something you kind of maybe would want.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. I guess it depends on how you're using your tablet. But I think it's a feature that should be thrown in, especially if you're going to compete in the Android marketplace where your baseline specs are the same. But something cool coming, and they are using stock Honeycomb. They're not jazzing it up with a Samsung overlay, which I thought was interesting. But kind of nice to see. I think Google's kind of going. this is what you're using for tablets.
Yeah.
And why the specs are all the same and kind of thing. So kind of interesting. Motorola released the pricing for the Zoom, which we've all been kind of waiting for.
Well, we were initially worried that there wasn't going to be a Wi-Fi only version available.
Which I think would stifle sale
Absolutely,
incredibly, because
absolutely.
the Wi-Fi only iPad sells a lot more than
Yeah.
the 3G ones. Then we were originally concerned that we saw price tags upwards of $1,000,
Which really wasn't going to
which
sell
is like
at all.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. So $799 for the 3G version.
Yeah.
Um,
Unsubsidized.
exactly, which that's going to come down with a subsidy, which is normal for signing on. And then we're looking at about 600 American. These are American prices. 600 for the Wi-Fi only version, which I think is in line.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit more expensive than the iPad, but not by much, and, a lot better specs.
It is a much. I mean, it'll be curious to see what happens when the iPad 2 comes out, what they do about pricing,
Absolutely.
because I really don't think they can keep that price point
No.
and jump the specs a large
Well,
deal.
that'll be the interesting thing, is if the iPad 2 comes out and the iPad 1 drops $100 or something like that, there's going to be a ridiculous number of iPad 1 sales. So,
Which is, to be honest, probably not a good purchase
well, yeah.
if you can go up a little bit and buy something like this. But I agree. I think it will sell very well at
Yeah.
that point. So that's it from Motorola. They didn't really announce anything new and special because they had a big thing at CES. HTC came out and jumped in the tablet game, which is good to see because they make really sweet hardware for the
They
phones.
do, yeah.
So they're releasing, it's called the HTC Flyer. They've said almost nothing.
Interesting.
They showed it off. It's not running Honeycomb. And they're just going to basically put on their whole, Sense UI to the max kind of tablet optimized customization of Android. Probably not a good move, HTC, but I guess a lot of people like their UIs. So
I think there's still a lot of people that don't really know what the difference between 2.1 and 2.2 and 2.3 really actually gains them. So I think a lot of these companies just be like, we'll put what we want to put on it, and you probably won't care.
no, but see, I agree with you. But the problem there is Honeycomb has come out, and it is completely different.
Yeah.
And it is actually well designed compared to most of the other Android UIs.
I just think the problem is, outside of people like us who actually kind of follow this news, the general mass public has no idea what honeycomb means.
True.
So
but,
these companies can get away with not putting it on.
yeah, I just don't think it's a good idea.
No.
Because
for
then
sure.
what's going to happen
But we always
is-
want the best, so.
Well, yeah. And what's going to happen is you go out and look at the tablets at the store, and you'll see two that look very similar and one that looks different.
Yeah.
And you're going to ask why, and the salesman goes, well, they're actually both Android. The
Yeah.
person's not going to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So, interesting. I mean, if it looks good, I think it'll still sell pretty well. But they're really keeping tight on the specs. It's probably similar-ish, I would imagine. But good to see they're jumping in the market. BlackBerry had a few quick announcements. They're shipping with some games on board.
Yeah, I believe Tetris and a Need for Speed game.
Underground, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
Something like that. Anyway, that's for Tetris fans. Sam was excited.
Well, I mean, I think BlackBerry's trying to prove that yes, they kind of marketed their tablet as being like, hey, BlackBerry users thinking I can do all my work stuff on it, but BlackBerry really wants to get the point across. They're like, no, this is a tablet. It can do lots of things.
Yeah, they kind of
like
wanna,
gaming.
They kind of want to do the best of both, and it can. It's a sweet piece of hardware.
It is,
They were
yeah.
the first ones to come out and say, look, we're
Do
doing
we?
dual
We don't
core.
have pricing on that yet, do we?
No
Oh, okay.
big problem.
Yeah,
there.
it's still kind of
But
hiding in the shadows.
There
right
was
now.
a kind of almost I don't want to say misquoted, but Jim Basile, who's one of the co-CEOs of RIM, kind of said that they were trying to ballpark it just under 500,
Yeah, which would be
which
a good
probably
price
means
point.
$499,
Yeah,
but good price point.
especially for the hardware that's on there.
Yeah, great price point for that. And then they also finally finalized how many versions they're going to have. So they're going to have a Wi-Fi only version, which you'll probably see at that $499, $599 price point.
Yeah.
Then there's going to be a WiMAX version, which no one else has announced, which is interesting because not very many people use WiMAX.
No.
An LTE version, a 3G version, and I believe there's an Edge version as well.
Wow.
So you can pretty much get a playbook anywhere.
Yeah, they really want to make sure that no matter who you're with, you have an opportunity
Which
to get one.
mirrors their BlackBerry smartphones.
It's true, yeah, because you can
Uh,
have Blackberries for everything. So
So you got to give them that. They are everywhere. Moving on, LG announced a Android tablet as well, the G Slate.
which is such a weird name.
It is, the LG G Slate. That's the thing I don't like, double G's.
GG.
Can it just have been the LG Slate?
Yeah.
Slate's a good name for a tablet.
Is that already taken though? Wasn't something called the Slate and now it's not the Slate anymore? Didn't Dell call it the Slate or something like that?
Dell has the Streak.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But anyway, it's the LG G Slate, and very similar to things like the Zoom and the Galaxy Tab 10.1. So, but LG is jumping in there, and 3D.
Cool.
3D display, glassesless. as well as the ability to play.
I hope you can turn that on and off though,
I assume so.
because I wouldn't want to use a tablet that was always 3D.
No,
because then if I was like leaning like this
Well,
and reading,
because
I couldn't see
the
things.
the UI is not 3D.
Okay.
It just gives you
It
the
has the
ability, like if
capability
you
to
can have a
watch
3D
3D?
app, 3D
Okay.
video, 3D photos, things like that. It's also got 2 cameras on the back, so you can record 720p 3D, and you can interestingly output 1080p 3D on an HDMI to a TV,
Interesting.
which is kind of nice. It gives you that old.
I don't know that I really want to walk around with a tablet recording 720p video.
No,
that would
I don't.
seem kind of weird.
I don't know that I really want to use the back camera on a tablet for anything.
I would
I
say-
want to take this picture. Like,
I think what I've always understood it, and that's what I liked about the Courier when it was initially announced, was the idea that if you're using it for your day-to-day stuff, and it's like, you know, you come across something that gives you an idea, like you're a photographer and you see an image that you like, or you're a designer and you see a fabric that you like, the idea of just being able to be like, snap, and then it's in with all the stuff you're working on. I think the idea of having a camera makes sense. I just don't see people like, smile for the picture, and here's my giant tablet.
no,
like,
it's
so,
kinda- yeah.
720p 3D, I don't know that I'd walk around shooting that.
I don't know that I'd walk around shooting 3D on anything at this point.
I suppose, yes.
But they are the first ones to bring that, and they also released a 3D phone as well with 3D screens, similar technology. So that's kind of cool. Last but not least, we're going to talk about Toshiba with their fail.
Yes.
They announced a Windows 7 tablet.
Which we've all pretty much have established that although it would be interesting to have a full operating computer, it really won't work well as a tablet.
No. I love Windows 7. I love Toshiba. I still think this is a horrid fail. And that's all I want to say about it.
All right.
We're going to move on to possibly the most interesting piece of news this week after all this mobile world stuff. The App Store subscription model is out. So now that the daily is out, Apple had to come together and put together this whole recurring subscription thing into their App Store.
And unfortunately, the subscription server is great for consumers, but terrible for everyone else.
Yeah. So what's gone on is Apple has said, if you're going to offer recurring subscriptions, you have to do it through our store. You can't offer an outside purchase.
So to make an example to explain it, something like Netflix. You go to Netflix's website, you sign up for Netflix's service. So Apple's saying, okay, well, if you allow people to go to your website and sign up for the service, you also have to allow them to do it in the app.
Yeah, or conversely, if I'm in the app, you can't point me to a website.
Correct.
You can't even do both.
Yeah.
Within the app, you have to use
let Apple do it.
Which is one of the problems. Now, that wouldn't be a huge deal. I mean, it's a burden to also develop that other chain if you already have the web app thing going, like a lot of ebook people do. Now I got to develop that. Great, but Apple also takes 30% cuts off every in-app subscription purchase.
And unfortunately, one of the other specifics is you have to charge exactly the same price or less than you charge elsewhere.
Which that's ridiculous.
Well, there's a lot of companies like Amazon and Netflix who make small margins on the hope of large traffic. And unfortunately, if Apple comes in and takes 30% of their profit away, some of these companies are breaking even or actually losing money because of this cut.
And I mean, if you look at the daily, it's like $40 a year.
Yeah.
So like $12 that is Apple's.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, like I can understand taking a cut.
Yes.
Because you do maintain this huge network. You've got the App Store. You promote the apps and things like that, and that's fine. You maintain the APIs. You bring in customers.
I really feel like they should operate more on like a MasterCard Visa kind of thing where it's somewhere in the range of 3 to 5%. That seems like
Something
a more reasonable cut.
Yes. And usually there's a finder's fee cut in other business. Something, no more than 10% usually. 30 is a little ridiculous. I think it's really... I think there's going to be some anti-competitive lawsuit here somewhere.
Now, interestingly enough, there's been some speculation that Netflix is going to be exempt from this, which gets back into Apple's game where they play favoritism, although they claim not to play favoritism. And unfortunately, that means that there's going to be a lot of people complaining to Apple, being like, "Why do they get to do this and we can't do this?" And someone mentioned to me today that maybe it's a tactic right now that Apple's saying Apple in their mentality is going, we're going to start at 30%, and then when everyone complains, we'll drop it down to something like 10, and everyone will be happy.
Yeah.
But really, it would have been like at 10, you should have argued for 5. But because they're starting at 30, when everyone argues for that 15 or 10%, and Apple finally goes, okay, we'll give you 15 or 10, everyone feels like they've won, but really, they're still getting screwed just as, not as badly, but worse than it should be.
Now, the other side of that is conveniently this week, Google announced a similar feature in Android.
Yeah.
They're taking 10%, and there's no restrictions.
Now, arguably, that's a much better number. I still feel like 10 is high, though, especially since all you're really doing is mitigating a service. You're not. They don't have to work harder to do that.
I thought 10 was high as well, but apparently, according to everything I've read this week and all the podcasts I've listened to, that's a fairly standard fee.
Okay, well then...
and I don't know that industry very well.
I don't either. So if everyone else is saying 10's fair, then cool, 10's fair.
But at 3 times as much is still not fair.
No.
So I kind of think what you were saying is a good point. Apple's going to say, haha, we'll start high, we'll win you down to something, and then you'll win, everyone will be happy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when Google kind of comes out and does that, when Google has the majority of the phone users now.
Well, the problem is that there's still more money running through Apple.
Like outrageously more.
So as much as I want to say, oh yeah, people just jump ship for Google. As much as there's more Google phones out there's less people buying things on Google.
No, actually, what's funny is the BlackBerry App Store makes more money than the Android App Store.
Yeah, so the problem is that you could be, oh yeah, it's well and good, I'm going to go to Google, but really you're not going to go to Google because unless you're in a scenario where you're either breaking even or losing money, as long as you're still making some kind of money from it, you'll probably put up with Apple stuff because of its base.
I'd be interested to see what happens. Amazon won't. I guarantee you, the Kindle app's going to change. You will not be able to buy books through the Kindle app anymore.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen there. Because Amazon's going to go...
And Rhapsody's already mentioned that they want to leave.
They're done, they've announced, because they can't... Because Rhapsody has to pay someone for the content, right? They're licensing. They're not making it, so their margins are much smaller.
And that was the other thing, is I saw a tweet this week, is what about a scenario where someone creates an app for a service that don't actually run themselves? Does the app have to pay them, or does the service have to pay Apple? And if it's the app, then there's no money being made, and where's the money come from? So it's kind of a broken system.
Because I think... Apple just said, we charge 30% on the app purchase. We might as well charge 30% on the subscription. But those are completely different situations. And I think even if Apple was going to do the screw around, they should have at least looked like they weren't trying to screw people off the bat.
Yeah.
And, gone to like 20 or something.
I still think 20 is high. Like 15.
20 is definitely
15
high.
would have been a reasonable
20
entry point.
is definitely high, but
with
at least
hopefully a talk down to 10.
At least show that they're treating them differently, as opposed to saying, everything for us is 30%. Just give us your money.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting, but that App Store is pulling in over $1 billion a year.
Yeah.
Which is the next down as the BlackBerry, and I think they're 300 million.
It's a pretty substantial jump.
And Google's way below that.
Yeah.
Because no one pays for apps in the Android App Store.
Yeah.
Yet. So it's interesting to see what happens. I imagine that'll change.
We'll let you know if Apple decides to, backpedal on their numbers.
Yeah, which they tend to do a lot.
Yeah.
Next up, Microkia. Microsoft and Nokia had a large announcement before Mobile World Conference. This whole thing was stupid.
It was.
So Nokia has been failing for a while. If you're not familiar with them, they used to be the biggest phone platform here worldwide.
They still sell a lot of phones, but all the phones they sell now are dumb phones.
Well, yeah, they sell tons of dumb phones, but they used to be the biggest smartphone platform because they got out there first.
Yeah.
With Symbian. Now, since then, literally anything else has been winning.
Yes.
So they're kind of, we need to make a move. And they kind of came out. Now, what's interesting is their new CEO is from Microsoft, which was a big kind of push. But people kind of looked at it and said they're either going to adopt Android or Windows Phone 7. Now, the only reason Windows Phone 7 came in, aside from the CEO, was that it's a new operating system.
Yeah.
So they could kind of take that as, associated with the Nokia brand because it's not very popular yet, and kind of work that as their own. So they still kind of get their own branding.
Yeah. And there hasn't been a big push for Windows 7
No, exactly.
yet. So somebody like Nokia coming out and making, 15 handsets right off the bat, it would be a good push for Windows 7.
And as Nokia, you might actually sell more doing that.
Yeah.
Because you're not just another Android phone.
And you also have a backing of a lot of, especially in Europe, a lot of people that love the fact that their Nokia phones last for friggin' ever.
Nokia's made fantastic hardware.
Yeah, I have an E61i that I bought 4 years ago. Still works perfectly.
Fantastic smartphone hardware. Even now, their smartphones coming out are awesome, but they don't have any app. They don't have any of that ecosystem.
I mean, the N8's not a terrible. The N8's a nice phone. It's just unfortunately that operating system has no connectivity to anything.
So they did officially announce that they're going to go Windows Phone 7, which. To be honest, a lot of people say, "Oh, well, it's a good move. It's a bad move." I think it's a good move.
I think it's a good move.
I think
it's the only thing Nokia could do to get out of the.
They could have gone Android, and a lot of people think they should have gone Android. I think that would make them one of those other Android cell phone makers.
Android's too saturated right now.
HTC's awesome, and Samsung's making great phones. I don't think Nokia could separate themselves from that to keep them going as strong.
Yeah.
So I think this is actually a good move, and we like Windows Phone 7. It's not. I wouldn't buy one necessarily, but I'm pretty locked
It's showing
down
potential.
A lot of people have liked it. As a Microsoft product, it's one of the most impressive things they've done in years.
Anyway, the problem with this is that Nokia has decided that they're not going to bring out any phones till next year.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
It's way too late to do that. If you're going to do this, have us a phone in 3 months tops.
Because what I would have expected from this announcement was do it at Mobile World Congress, steal the show.
Yeah.
Out of tablets, but other than tablets, steal the smartphone side of the show.
Yeah.
Aside from that, say, by the way, tomorrow you can buy this phone, this phone, this phone on these carriers with Windows Phone 7.
Yeah.
That would have been the way to do it.
You know, go in and pull an Apple.
Yeah. See, what they did instead was announce all these great things and then say, like a week later, by the way, we don't have any phones ready.
Yeah.
Give me all the excuses you want, Nokia. Bad move.
Well, it's the same issue with Palm Pre going, hey, here's a bunch of, HP's like, here's some new stuff. You'll have it in the summer. And by the time summer comes around, it's outdated.
Plus the Palm Pre 2 is just launching now. So it's kind of interesting. I think good move, Nokia. Way to screw it up.
Yeah.
Microsoft played
Swing and a miss.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft's just here. They're like, hey, can we use your operating system? They're like, yeah. I think it's just lucky for them, to be honest. They were kind of two older companies that are trying to stay alive. So I think it's a decent matchup, but we'll see what happens.
Lastly on the dock this week, Canadian content update. Seems like the government's deciding to step in.
Yeah, so last week we told you about that action. Sorry, I said it was brought by Mobility. It was Public Mobile,
Okay.
Which is another small startup. Brought the action against Win, saying, hey, you don't have enough Canadian ownership. The government shouldn't have been able to overturn that. The court said yes. 45-day delay on the thing, so Win can continue to operate. Now, Win Mobile is appealing, and the government is appealing, which is interesting. Because they did, in fact, whether anyone wants it, they did break the law.
Yeah. I think the issue a lot of people are feeling is that the CRTC is sort of outdated in their methodologies now, in that they because they try so hard to make sure there's Canadian content, they actually reduce the amount of companies that will actually be able to work in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a fine line, but the counter-argument to that, I'll play that side for a second, is the fact that these are the laws as set out by the elected government.
Yeah.
Our job as the CRTC is to follow them. We did that.
Yeah.
And if the government's not going to change the law, there's nothing they can do. Like, they can't just go willy-nilly changing decisions.
And I feel like going forward, what needs to happen is that law needs to change.
I agree,
Because the problem is we ask for too much. Like, I'm cool with there being people in Canada that have to own your company, but if it's, what is it now, like 80%? That's too high. I mean, that really reduces the amount of potential companies that can work here. If you made it something like 50 or 40 or something like that, where, we might actually see a lot more competition to some of our products.
That's the thing, is I'm really conflicted on this, because in terms of
legality,
the whole government legality, the way this should go kind of thing, is the government's going crazy and doing things government shouldn't do, and operating the backwards way that government shouldn't operate, which I don't want. I want, but at the same time, they're encouraging competition, which I do want.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, why don't you just govern properly and do both and avoid these ridiculous lawsuits?
Yeah.
If they had changed the law, there would have been no lawsuit, and we could have moved forward.
Well, hopefully
So,
from this we might see a change to that law.
I hope so. Apparently they're considering going from 20 to 49%.
That'd be a lot better.
So it's still majority Canadian owned.
Yeah. But it gives a lot more chances.
Yeah, so hopefully... Is it very surprising to see the conservative government fighting for consumers?
Yeah.
It's very backwards for me. But, and people can't make the argument. Win is definitely one of the best competitors out there. They're whooping Mobility. They're whooping Public Mobile.
Yeah.
Because they have so much money. Let them spend their money here.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's like, I don't know. Anyway, that's the update. We'll keep you going because it could get messy and be drawn on for years. But if anything exciting comes up, we'll keep you in the know.
All right, that's it this week in Tech Insight.
It's kind of alive.
Nah, it's still dead.
Oh.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Mad Science for this week. I'm Sean,
And I'm Sam.
and we're gonna kick it off. We got a really neat medical story which we talked about last year.
This kind of follows our recent trend of technology inspired by Star Trek.
Yeah,
Sort of.
They've kind of made a neat little medical scanner.
So basically how this works is you hold it up to your skin
Yep,
for X number of seconds,
3 minutes.
or 3 minutes.
Yep.
It beeps and it tells you how healthy you are on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
It's just kind of basic, so it can't really tell you if you've got cancer, heart disease, etc., etc. It just tells you your overall
Health.
healthiness.
Yeah, so it gives you
Question
your hit
mark?
points in real life. What it does is it bounces light off of your skin,
Yeah.
and basically whatever wavelength comes back is actually able to tell the machine how what the antioxidant level of your skin is.
Yeah.
And if your skin's got a high antioxidant level, that's a pretty good indication of how healthy you are. Or sorry, the level is a good indication. So if you got low antioxidants, generally means you're pretty unhealthy.
Yeah. So the main applications for this would be something like diet and exercise. Basically, if you're starting a new diet routine or something, you want to measure yourself.
Well, it's actually really interesting because they were able to it shows the actual life change styles, such as if you are a smoker, if you quit smoking and you test yourself over the week, you will notice your changes.
Yeah.
And how much healthier you're actually going to be. Same with you if you drink or eat badly, it's always going to be the
Or
same.
if you're in a high stress week at school or work or something.
Yeah, if you're not sleeping, it'll show as soon as you start again. It's actually really cool. So it's an interesting little quick health indicator.
Yeah. And the other cool part is that this thing is actually only about $250 US.
Yep.
I'm not sure if it's like fully available yet.
I don't know if it's available in the U.S. yet, but it definitely is in Europe, specifically Germany.
Okay.
The German government is very happy that this device exists because they're trying to promote a healthier lifestyle. And this is the best way of being like, it's your quick spot check. Oh, yes, I'm doing good again.
Yeah, it's basically a quick way instead of going to see a doctor to see if you're on course with your diet or your exercise, going to the gym routine and stuff.
Exactly.
Again, doesn't do like cancer and heart stuff, so still go see your doctor every now and then.
However, it is just another quick note. It is actually also being aimed toward cancer patients who are on chemo, so it can show you how well you're progressing in the sense of the chemo isn't damaging you as badly. So it'll tell you when you reach a good balance point.
Exactly.
So it's a really good indicator as well. But moving ahead, and something else that's a little bit
Alternative?
a little alternative,
Yeah.
but not really. Basically, a Japanese inventor has come up with a way of making a home refinement station for plastic.
Yay! So what this does is basically it breaks down your plastic bags, your bottle caps and things that basically you wouldn't throw in your recycling bin because your city or your county or whatever doesn't recycle them. Breaks it down into its
Well, what it does
core
is
components and then
exactly what it does is it heats the plastic
Yeah.
up. It captures the vapors and runs it through basically cooling blocks and piping and all of that. And
jiggery pokery magic stuff.
exactly. And what it does is it captures from the vapors the actual crude oil. And from about, I think it was about a kilo.
kilogram.
Yeah, about a kilo gets you about a liter of crude oil,
Yeah.
which is pretty good, all while using 1 kilowatt hour of electric or of
Yeah.
energy, which is pretty good.
So this concept isn't really new. It's something that's been around for a while, but what's cool about this one is that the actual device itself is about the size of like an average size microwave.
Take a
kinda.
microwave and flip it on its
Yep,
side.
Flip it.
And it's
vertically.
upright. And it fits on this podium.
Yep.
It is a small device. And the best thing is that he's got another machine, which is part of this process, which you can also buy. Currently, the refining machine costs you about
$10,000.
Yeah,
US.
10,000 US. But he's hoping the price will
It's
go
got to
down.
start somewhere, so
Exactly.
pretty good.
And so he's hoping that the price will go down, but at the same time, he wants to start marketing it with his separate refiner, which will take the crude oil you've recovered and turn it into usable gasoline.
Exciting.
So you could be looking at cutting down a lot of your fuel consumption,
So
but depending
this-
on what you're doing.
So now that you have something about the size of a microwave and probably
Mm-hmm.
something else the size of a microwave, you don't have enough kitchen space for it, put it in your garage.
Mm-hmm.
Problem solved.
Exactly. And not to mention, it keeps a lot of plastic out of the landfill. And,
Yep, definitely
it's
a plus.
it's a great way of recycling the plastic into something else that's usable.
Something a bit more useful.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that basically wraps it up for science this week, as well as our show, I guess.
Yeah. Well, actually, one last thing about science/technology/
Yeah.
entertainment that we're gonna wrap the show up on. Were you watching Jeopardy this week?
I was, as I hope a lot of you were, time of recording, because, well,
I'm sorry, humanity. We've been
we've lost.
owned by robots.
Yep. So essentially, Watson, the wonderful IBM computer that has been playing Jeopardy, although it crashed many, many times during the filming,
Multiple times.
still happened to win. So Ken Jennings said it best. He welcomes our robot overlords. So I don't know how to feel about it.
And on that slightly depressing note,
Yeah.
that's it for this week. If you want to contact us about how we can serve our robot overlords, the easiest way to reach us is on Twitter at facebook.com/almost_Friday.
Or you can email us at contact@almostfridayshow.com. And, well, I guess don't look at your toaster wrong. Eventually it's going to be fighting you.